Good evening, everybody, from Glacier Peak High School in Snohomish, Washington. It's the STSPN presentations of Western Conference Varsity Boys Basketball. Scott Oshman, Keith Neely, Steve Willits along with you. Edmonds-Woodway Warriors come into the Bear Cave here and face the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Keith, Edmonds-Woodway, your familiar team, the voice of the Warriors for many years. They're almost a new name, the High Flying Warriors.
Well, they certainly had that starting the season, ranked number, I think number 8th in the season to start the polls in the preseason polls. Kind of came down to earth a little bit with their one loss to the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. But yeah, they're a jazz team. They fly around the court. They're a lot of speed, a lot of trapping, run and gun basketball. So they're a lot of fun to watch.
Well, and number 0, don't take anything by that name. He scores almost the opposite of 0. He averaging 29, 25 points. He scored 39 at Kamiak, 36 against Cascade, their only other loss.
He's
David Woodard.
David Woodard is a pure scorer. I mean, he's the guy that has a good court IQ. He has got the physical skills to get the job done. Plus, he's one of those characters that can create a shot out of anything. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be an offense to get it done.
And speaking of David Woodard, let's go down to Steve Willits with the head coach, Robert Brown. Steve?
Robert, big game tonight, obviously. Mount Lake Terrace losing the other night, so right now you're trying to keep up with everybody and stay in first place. Any extra pressure?
You know, it is not keep up. It's just the team that's in front of us. We have to play that team. And then at the end of the season, everything will shake out.
Now, this is a Glacier Peak team that obviously has had a lot of success over the years. Struggled a little bit early in the season. Do you worry about your guys maybe being a little overconfident coming into a game if they're looking in the standings right now and seeing a very dangerous GP down in the standings?
Nope, we lost to them 3 times last year. They will not overlook this team at all.
All the motivation you need, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you tonight. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. That's awesome. Yeah, he lost 3 times to him last year. It was deja vu for poor Robert Brown, and at that time a little younger Warrior team ended the regular season, then they were the first opponent in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was one of those games, a couple of those games where Edmonds-Woodway had leads, second half leads, and just really couldn't hold on. So, yeah, you take something from that if you're one of those underclassmen or one of those juniors coming in.
And the other side, Glacier Peak, let's go down to Steve Willits, the head coach, Brian Hunter. Steve?
All right, guys, I'm here with Brian Hunter, Coach Hunter. Big game tonight. Edmonds-Woodway team that's leading the conference in scoring by a big margin. Does that change the way you prepare for a game like this?
A little bit, it's got to, but I think they score a lot because they get so many possessions, so some of that you can't control, but you really got to control what you do, and hopefully you do it well, and that's going to be the key for us.
Obviously, you guys have had a lot of success in this conference over the last few years, kind of in a spot right now you're not necessarily used to, which is a good thing, right? You're down in the standings a little bit.
That's a good thing. It's from Terrace and you guys, but not for us.
But as far as being down a little further in the standings, do you worry about the guys maybe trying to look too far into the standings right now and pressing a little bit? And from your standpoint as a coach, what do you do to kind of keep them focused one game at a time?
Maybe a little bit. The thing that our program has done is we've always succeeded when the playoffs come around. And I think we're a team that understands that, a program that understands that. Our hope is that we can get there. You got to get into the playoffs. But once you get into it, hopefully some of our history and what we've done is maybe pays off a little bit. But, every season's new. But we do have some kids that really want to compete, play hard. That's the key for us is playing hard, competing, getting better, so that when the playoffs come around and you're in them, you're playing your best basketball.
And I'm going to throw this out because I want your fans to hear it too. Last game against Mount Lake Terrace, not as many people here as we're used to seeing, and it just felt like there wasn't as much energy in the building. What does it mean for you and your team when these kids and the students and the band turns out? Call these guys out right now to let them know that you want the energy the rest of the season. What does it mean for you guys?
Well, it's high school athletics. I think every team in our league would say the same thing. This gym, any gym in our league, in the state, is so much better when the kids and the band are here. And it's what gets these guys excited. It's fun for everybody else. Big games with big crowds. I mean, that's what this is about.
And you got a big game and a big crowd tonight. Coach, good luck.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, back up to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Willits. And Keith, there's a good point there. So Glacier Peak in a little bit unfamiliar territory. Conference 2-3, overall 8-5. Went down to California over the holidays. But to Glacier Peak team 2-3, that's just not what they're used to.
Oh, not at all. But it's certainly not so late in the season you can't figure out who you are as a club and be right back there again. I think the coach touched on that a little bit. You know, we're only going to do the things we can control, and because we've been in the playoffs before, because we've been in state, in the regionals, we're going to build on that experience having been there, and hopefully by the time they get to the end, they will have gelled and have that experience working for them.
And the keys for Glacier Peak is number 2, Zach Hatch. He's got to fill it up from down under, or a long way, and obviously Brendan Tatro, you kind of saw, you were here actually, you saw his coming out party in the last part of the season in the playoffs as well. A newcomer last year, just a sophomore, number 30, Bobby Martin, has been giving some meaningful minutes. They lost some size, and then you got Justin Guffey, Mr. Everything, Mr. Miracle Man, hits just incredible acrobatic falling away shots. So they live and die by the outside. They don't have a lot of size.
Well, and that doesn't necessarily cause them grief, I don't think, against Edmonds-Woodway, who's also undersized but flies around the court. So you're going to see, especially when you talk about a Bobby Martin, who just lays out for almost anything. A guy's got to have more road rash or court rash on his body than anybody on the court tonight. But it's two fast run-and-gun ball teams. It's not going to be a half-court offense. You're going to see probably count on two hands total the number of half-court sets.
And as we switch now over to the Warriors, we talked about, averaging just under 80 points a game in high school basketball. That's rarefied air. And we were talking, going back and forth earlier about who to key on, and it's just a highlight reel here. You got, obviously we talked about David Woodard, then the Trey Holland show. I was here last year. It was the Trey Holland show. Just spectacular athlete. And then you get to Ali Gay, who I enjoyed watching on the football field, but also just he brings the height and the toughness. And then you also have kind of the ringleader, the general, Mr. Rice. If I hit it right?
Pretty much, although
there's a lot of supporting cast. I don't want to play down.
There's a lot of supporting cast. Jordan Rice can go from floor general to jester on a flip of a switch, though. I mean, he's that kind of kid. A lot of fun. Jordan Rice can put up 20 a game. Trey Holland can put up 20 a game. David Woodard can put up 20 a game. It's just one of those guys that are teams that you can't key on only David Woodard. That's probably why David Woodard scores as much as he does.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a contrast in some ways, and we'll see how much Glacier Peak can control the fluidness and the timing of the game, because they don't want to make it ugly, slow it down, just on that edge of crazy, out of control.
Two things that come to mind. One of them, I think Coach Hunter hit the nail on the head when he talked about possessions, because Edmonds-Woodway is out to gain extra possessions all the time. They will half-court trap. They're flying 2 and 3 people at a ball handler. So if you can't bring the ball up the court in the first 5 minutes of this ball game, that's going to be a real telltale sign, because you can't give up extra possessions to an Edmonds-Woodway.
And you get to talk to head coach for Edmonds-Woodway, Robert Brown, in his second year. Or is it 1.5? I don't know. I think it's pretty much the second.
2. He's been with the program 5 years.
Yeah.
He's been an assistant coach, so he's been there.
And there's, as you see, the starting lineups being introduced. But we were talking, he said once they introduce the 35-second shot clock, which he wants it to go down to 30, he grew up, he went to Ballard, but he's all about pressure. He wanted, Willits can chime in. Thank you. That's Todd Elvig, 5-tool play, executive producer. But anyway, we'll talk more about that when we come back. Right now, we're going to step away. We'll have tip-off here on STSPN.
Just how many trains that one.
just about ready for some varsity basketball. Just to finish that little point here, he was just saying he'd love to press every single second all the way, but you can't do it with the 35-second shot clock.
Well, he's gonna anyway. He's gonna press 9 times out of 10 up the court. The only thing that is gonna stop it is breaking it. I mean, that's what you do. If you're the Grizzlies right now, you have practiced for the last 3 days on nothing but press break.
And a little bit of a shuffle during the season, but pretty much you have Kyle Dvorak, number 33. He's the tallest on the squad for GP, 6'5", the senior, and the ball goes to Mr. Holland. Glad you're with us, Scott Oshman, Keith Neely, Steve Willits. Rice goes in, but he's denied. Coming down is Dvorak, and here we see Seaver Southard. You saw last year his older brother, Brady Southard, the big fella. Seaver, a sharpshooter specialist, gets it down into Guffey.
Edmonds-Woodway big men are prone to foul trouble, so that may be another one of those keys to the game that Coach Hunter is talking to his players about pregame.
10 on the shot clock. Bobby Martin with the ball up top. Drives, takes it right in, and there to pick up the miss is Dvorak.
Right place, always sealing off that backside.
Right back is Woodard. And the ball will go to GP. Don't look down too quickly. I'm learning here quickly when the Edmonds-Woodway guys have the ball. They'll fly down the court.
A little note here, Ryan Peterson came over to coach there on that dead ball and grabbed his jersey like he wanted out. So I don't know if he's got ill effects of coming down out of that rebound.
Zach Hatch, we talked about his three-point work, and he starts it off. That's a good sign if you're a Zach Hatch fan.
Hot shooters getting hot early, they rarely cool off. So that's an outstanding sign if you're a Grizzly fan.
Rice with the ball up top. Holland setting the pick is Peterson. He drives back out. Sear. Rice with the rebound, a little double clutch, and Hatch comes up with it.
One shot only. That's what you like to see out of the blocking out. Outstanding block out underneath by the three bigs. Of course, you had Sear, one of the taller players for Edmonds-Woodway, out at the top. That'll help you too.
See the defensive just kind of feeling out. No score, 5-0 the home team. 5:57 here in the first quarter. Dvorak, they swing it out top. Now Rice cuts off the lane all the way. Can't get it, but to pick it up is his good buddy Woodard.
Even though it was a breakaway, Woodard sensed that his teammate a little bit of trouble there, getting the ball off his hip and followed it in nicely.
Holland giving Seaver the business. Again, 21 seconds, 20 now on the shot clock, getting into the front court, part of the strategy. Bobby Martin, and he's going to draw the foul there on Eddie.
I think Martin's got the first step. He's going to have a first step on Martin all day long, so it's just going to be a matter of Sear is smart enough to back off the step, because right now I think I know where I'd be giving the ball if I'm Glacier Peak.
Matchups. Our officials tonight, you're seeing Kevin Erickson, Todd Weber, and Brett McIntyre. Ball gets in back to Seaver. Seaver Southard, he spent some time starting, actually had a big game earlier in the season. Then he kind of worked his way out a little bit. And here's Hatch again. Can he do it? Not this time. Woodard with the rebound. But Seaver working his way back into the starting lineup for GP.
So Peterson does come out of the ball game for Brady Edwards, so I don't know what that's about, but Peterson usually plays large minutes.
And maybe we'll get Steve. And there's a free ball.
Eddie Sear drops one in. Second tallest guy, well, the tallest now on the court.
6'4".
You're drifting out on the arc.
Hatch in the corner, gets it around.
Great
Martin from outside, off the rim. Boy, hauling in was Bobby Martin. Got away with it. Hatch now coming back for GP. Takes it all the way in. for the layup. Hatch, the spark for GP. They're up by 2, 7-5, 4:17 left in the first.
What a great first possession there before the knockout top. Just passing the ball around. Unselfish play. Got a great looking shot. Didn't hit it, but a beautiful, beautiful possession.
And Trey gets into the paint, and he will draw a whistle and head to the free throw line.
One of those three guys we talked about at the top of the show that can create their own shot.
See, maybe Steve Willits can work his way, see if Mr. Peterson is okay. It's easy to forget that these kids are kids. They're going to school all day. They got, coming off the holidays. There's illnesses going. You just never know, right? He might be a little under the weather.
I don't know what it was. He grabbed his jersey, so he was definitely, he definitely knew he needed to sit down.
Misses that. And here comes Seaver Southern taking over the point guard duties. They look to trap, cross court to Hatch. Hatch driving in from the elbow. Woodard with the rebound. Woodard, there he goes from way downtown.
And that's a 15-foot jump shot for a lot of kids. That went up smooth, effortless.
And there's a foul to the crowd reacts to. Erickson rings Woodard up as he's smiling. He's not sure what happened. They call a technical. And Woodard, boy, he can do it all. How do you even attempt to guard David Woodard? Well, he can hit inside, outside. He's got a lot of tricks to his trade.
Well, try not to let him have the ball.
Yeah,
I think that's the first thing is don't let him get the ball. You got enough guys out there that can beat you, and if you can take the main guy out of the picture and only have to deal with a Rice and a Holland, you're going to have a much better showing, I would imagine.
Bobby Martin hits that. Again, getting varsity time last year as a freshman, again, rare. And he hits both of them on the technical. All tied up, 9-9, 3:36 left in the first.
And I think more than the foul against Woodard was the fact you've forced his coach to take him out of the ballgame for a seat at this point.
And we saw him chatting with them. Double team, gets out of that. Guffey, Martin takes Rice, and they're going to call Rice for the blocking foul. Jordan doesn't like the call.
Yeah, I think some of the Edmonds-Woodway faithful are with Mr. Rice also in that category.
So third team foul for Edmonds-Woodway here in the early going. First on Jordan. Bobby right back to the charity stripe, and he's 3 for 3. Glacier Peak trying to find their way as Bobby hits that. And here comes Trey Holland.
I think their way is going to be found immediately if they are able to beat this team.
Back out to Rice, the rebound, another shot at it. Brady Edwards now over number 12. Becker, a little short.
Becker's one of those Bobby Martin style guys. He's an energy, a vim, a vigor. He gives you an instant spark off the bench. Good defender.
6 foot senior. Hatch drains it.
Does he look smooth? Does he look like he's feeling the rhythm right now? My goodness.
And early coming, Glacier Peak had that late run in football, and so that really affected the guys in the start of the basketball season. Got their legs, basketball legs, and just out of rhythm a little bit. So Hatch now coming into his own at the right time. And there is Mr. Becker. Draws the foul, doesn't he?
I think out of bounds. He got out on the end line. I think it'll go back to Edmonds-Woodway. And now Ollie Gay, another one of those gridiron guys, comes in.
Let's go down to Steve Willits. Steve, I don't know if you heard anything or what's going on down there, buddy?
Yeah, I haven't heard much. Watching Ryan Peterson here along the sideline. He's grabbing his side a little bit.
As a three there, Steve. For Edwards.
He's grabbing his side a little bit. I can't tell if he's twisted or pulled a muscle, or perhaps it's the cafeteria chili. We'll keep an eye on him, but I think he might be going back in here shortly.
All right, thank you, Steve Willits. 2:09 left in the first quarter. 13-12. Glacier Peak with a 1-point lead here. Seaver Southern in trouble. Great defense causes the turnover. Now Edwards finishes the deal.
That's one of those extra possession things, and luckily you're able to buy one on the other end. Not a bad foul by Becker. You don't want to undercut. That part got a little dangerous.
And we call him Justin the Hitman Guffey on the gridiron, but that doesn't typically apply here on the hardwood. But they went down in a big pile there. That was a tough one. These are big boys. A lot of speed.
And it is speed. Boy, wasn't it 4-point, 5-point lead GP just a second ago, and now they're having to hit a free throw to tie it up.
First foul there on Becker as Guffey hits that. First point for Justin Guffey, the senior. Tied up at 14, can't get that, and down with it is Becker. Becker playing well here. Back out to Becker for three. Yes!
What a soft touch. That thing hung on every corner of the iron before daintily hitting the net.
Here comes Seaver Southern now. Trey Holland trying to force him to his left. Dvorak. Nice pass inside. Great steal, but great defense by Brady Edwards.
Brady Edwards, great help defense, is tough man-to-man. They like to give up a player at times to double team and trap. That time it was just purely to stay alive.
Back inbound, great look. Almost the alley-oop jumper there. Bobby Martin converts. 6 for Martin. Trey Holland the other way. 1-point lead for the Warriors. Just a pull-up jumper. There's an off-ball foul, Keith, on, looks like Kyle Dvorak.
Now we're going to have to see if they did count the basket, so very unfortunate timing. Had it about a half second earlier, he wouldn't allow him a chance at a 4-point play here. E-Dub with that 3-point lead. I mean, it just comes and goes. You think you got a 5-point lead on him, and all of a sudden you blink.
And a turnover there deep in the corner. Must have been off the foot, off the fingernail, something off Woodard and Ollie Gay there, and it'll be GP ball as we have our first substitution here. Brendan Tatro.
I like this kid. Plays all parts of the court. He's that big body, quintessential small forward that isn't necessarily small, but can drop it just so nicely from the top of the arc. I mean, you mentioned I got to see when he came into
yes.
the playoff game. That will be etched in my mind for a long time because it's one of those guys you just don't expect that from. You just don't.
No, and perhaps we aren't there over on the side, but almost a turnover by the Grizzlies, but instead it's a called foul, the second on Becker, and GP retains the ball, but they turn it over right as I said it.
This game's kind of starting a little different for Edmonds-Woodway than a lot of games that I've watched them play. And the matchups, you mentioned that Glacier Peak is small, but they match up very well against Edmonds-Woodway. I think it gives them a little bit of fits here that Edmonds-Woodway may not have been ready for.
And Trey Holland he thinks he can get by Seaver Southern. He probably might be right, and he tries to get in the paint. And that's the second foul on Seaver Southern.
Dvorak takes care of that.
So Dvorak back in. He didn't get much of a breather. Edwards back out now. Jordan Rice back in the ball game. I love those shoes. You always know where he is.
Day glow.
Set the top screen. Here comes Woodard. Too much. Tatro. Hatch.
Great idea. Great idea, and you had him about a half a length. That was the to the end zone skinny post play.
I was just going to say incomplete. Just rounding down here the first quarter, 19-16, not a high-scoring game. I think that favors Glacier Peak. Trey Hollins, look at that. The ankle breaker can't get the money shot. Rebound by Guffey.
You're going to have to get it off.
And he loses it 2 seconds. 1 second. Finds Woodard, loses a shoe, and still makes the basket.
I don't think they're going to count the basket. I think it's going to be out on the side after a foul call, and that is a real good break for Glacier Peak, because that was that 1 second buzzer beater, and you go into the first quarter down by 5 instead of 3.
Oh, David Woodard, he's got to tighten the laces. And alley-oop to Gay. An alley-oop to Ollie Gay, and it's not happening. But at the end of one, Edmonds-Woodway 19, home team Glacier Peak 16. Let's go to Steve Willits with a special guest.
Hey guys, I've got Roger O'Neill with me, the head coach of the Meadowdale Mavericks. Roger, these are your next 2 opponents out here. What do you think so far of this first quarter?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting first quarter. You got 2 really good basketball teams going at it, so it was a perfect game to come watch, as you said, because we play them both next week. But we got 2 really talented teams here, both well coached. So.
You got a huge win the other night against Melt Lake Terrace. Takes your record to 2-4, a much needed win at that. Tell me a little bit about what that win means to you guys. And also, I know talking to Harry White, your captain, he mentioned they had a big meeting last week, and it seems to have worked.
Yeah, no, we just got in there with the captains and kind of talked through some things. But, it was a huge win Tuesday night over at Terrace, and especially after Friday night we had a heartbreaker against Shorewood there, a 2-point loss. So it was really good to get back, and the guys battled. We had 2 great practices after that Shorewood loss, and they were ready to go, and they did a nice job executing the game plan.
All right, good luck to you the rest of the season. Roger O'Neill, back to you guys.
Nobody does it like Steve Willits. Roger O'Neill, thank you for that. And that's what's so interesting this year, halfway through, about this Wesco 3A South specifically, Keith, is all of a sudden you feel like you think the cream's kind of coming to the top. You got Terrace and Edmonds-Woodway, and all of a sudden Meadowdale knocks Terrace off. And then you're going, what the heck is going on? Who's who? Who's playing
that's
what?
High school basketball. That's what makes it so fun. That's what keeps people coming out to watch.
So you're going to have to check the stand. Great backdoor cut for Hatch. Got too deep, tried to find Guffey. Edwards for the pickoff. Trey. Rice wants 3. Another off-ball call, and Ollie Gay likes it.
I think it went against Ollie Gay, so he...
Oh, did it? Oh, I thought he was clapping out of joy. That was out of sadness, out of sorrow.
The sorrow clap.
It's frustration.
That's a perfection I don't think I have.
Here's the press. Guffey. Dvorak, cross court. Tatro fakes it. Now he goes up. Not enough mustard. Ollie comes out. Trey wants to go deep. Cut off the lane. Almost uses safety skills on the football field. Guffey gets in the middle.
Edmonds-Woodway wants to push. They're going to push any chance they get. So if you don't have a guy that knows that and has his heels about the half-court line the time the ball is rebounded on the offensive end for GP, you're going to be in trouble. They move up the court in a hurry.
And now number 11 in the ball game. Have to check your rosters, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Knowles, okay? Woodard. The deep jumper. Again, good defense there. At least you got to make Woodard earn it and adjust his shot in the air. Warriors up 3 here, 7-12 in the first half left. And Rice will get his second foul of the ninth. Now 7 teams fouls on Edmonds-Woodway, and that sends Hatch to the line.
Peterson popped into that game almost at a dead sprint, so he seems to be okay.
Seems fine as Argue checks in to give Dvorak a breather. As he hits that one, front end of the 1-and-1 for Zach Hatch. A little bit of a seesaw here. E-Dub up 2, 7-12 left as Hatch makes it now just a deficit of 1.
Again, without bigs, you're not going to see a whole lot of half court. There just isn't going to happen. So almost like watching ping pong.
Ollie Gay goes up. Cannot find the bucket. Two shots right there at the front door.
You got to shoot the bunny when you get them.
Sometimes those are tougher than they look. High post there for Tatro, and he misguided pass, frustration. They see a turnover, and turnovers are always key.
Well, it started at just man-to-man pressure on Hatch going down the right sideline, and all of a sudden, about the time Tatro wanted to do that little wrist flick, there was a double team. So it might have been stolen had it been on target anyway.
Woodard, that's just silly. Just about to say.
He's gone quiet?
He's gone a little quiet, but that is just silly.
Well, and he's going to be able to score anytime, you know, with him in about 4 or 5 feet from the arc.
Martin, Guffey finds Tatro. Now he likes the three too much. Good hustle rebound. Martin picks up the garbage. 8 points for the sophomore Martin. Guffey, the tough challenge of taking Woodard. Woodard spins, drives, touch. Ouch. 10 now for David Woodard as he heats up the car. Guffey wants a 3-ball. Got it.
What a ball game.
24-23, 5:33 left. Gets inside, Brady. Fighting. Argue has to fight in there for the rebound. Here
Nobody
comes
has
Hatch.
eyes on Hatch.
Dejected there by Peterson. Back the other way, Knowles. Open, Brady takes it alone. And they're going to call a charge. Debatable.
Debatable, but I think it was even enough. You can't argue had it gone either way. But yeah, I think Knowles had him on his heels a little bit. So, of course, that's exactly what Robert Brown in his second year is telling the officials at this point.
Ollie Gay out taking a breather now for the Warriors. And here Trey Holland will come back in. Brady Edwards. Edmonds-Woodway hitting from downtown, 5 of 7.
And only Woodard has 2 of those
Zach
5.
Hatch, there's a big screen on Argue. And they're going to ring him up.
Fouls on number 25, Zach.
It was a moving screen with a little touch of an elbow.
Yeah, that's a point of emphasis for this year as far as the officials go too, is that screen that you can't turn your body. It's not just a point of being moving or not. You have to have your body at an angle and stay in that angle. So you change it a little bit, you're going to get called where you may not have done that last year.
And just as you're saying that, Guffey think he's playing great defense. He collects his first foul. Now 16 fouls for Glacier Peak, 8 for Edmonds-Woodway there in the bonus. But they're getting physical, and I think the officiating crew is trying to keep that under control. Woodard downtown for 42.
That's Joe Cooper.
And Cooper. He's got the whole roster going. Hatch, triple. Big rebound by Zach Argue. Tatro resets. 4:21 left in the first half. 1 point lead for the Warriors.
They can keep rebounding like that, especially on the offensive end of the court. They're going to be in this ball game wire to wire. That's something that Edmonds-Woodway has not been as strong at this year.
Trey picks it up, the loose ball, and he converts. Boy, he gets down in a flash.
Got up too.
Yes, he did.
He was elbow at the rim, it almost seemed, by the time he laid that thing up.
4 points for the junior. Get used to him. He's going to be he's a tremendous player now. Wait till he's a senior. You have 5.
Got a free throw.
Trey Holland there. Tatro trying to get some body in to Knowles, and he does.
And this is kind of thing that drives some coaching staffs a little bit nuts. It plays one way in one quarter and plays another in a different quarter. And I agree, they need to probably, now that they're starting to bang a little bit, draw in the reins. But that wouldn't have been called the first quarter.
I don't think so. Brendan Tatro hits that. And Knowles, again, just a sophomore, getting some time, the 6-foot sophomore. Caleb Knowles as Brendan Tatro hits. 9 of 10 are the Grizzlies from the stripe,
boy,
and you got that's a dream right there.
That's going to keep you in ball games. There's just no doubt about it. You can give up possessions, and be out-possessed as long as you can continue to drop free throws in at 90%.
Timeout on the court. And we'll take a quick break here. 26-25, Edmonds-Woodway. Don't go away, STSPN.com.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds-Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Just rounding out the quarter number 2 here. Scott Oshman, Keith Neely, Steve Willits with you here from Glacier Peak High School. 26-25, Edmonds-Woodway hanging on to a 1-point lead. And there's Cooper, long range again, rebounded by Zach Hatch.
Short possession with some players that don't have a lot of minutes usually. Interesting to see what Robert Brown's going to drop at halftime.
Tatro looking for his first triple, and that will do it.
This GP team is dangerous. You don't want to let them hang around if you're Edmonds-Woodway, and they got you by a deuce right now.
Take the lead here. 2:48 left to go in the second quarter. Cooper out. Interesting lineup right now for Edmonds-Woodway, Keith. And they're going to get a foul off ball again. We've had quite a few, and they're going to go the other side of the court. I think that might be on David. No, it's going to be on Ollie Gay.
That foul is on number 32.
So Becker with 2, Gay with 2, Rice with 2, Knowles with 2.
On that side of the court, they will not go to the free throw line, but now E-Dub on the double bonus here with 10. Team fouls, only 6 for Glacier Peak.
It forces Robert Brown to go small.
Great breakaway, great screening. Guffey can't finish. Rebound, Warriors, Trey Holland. And Bobby Morton says, get out of the gym.
Swatted that one into the flower garden.
I knew that was coming. I set that up for you. I love the flower garden.
That one was deep into the garden there.
As Trey hits the free throw, let's go to Steve Willits again. Steve Willits, who's on the Everett Herald podcast, obviously Sound Live Sports Network. What's your, you see a lot of basketball. What are you thinking right now about what you're seeing, Steve?
I think Glacier Peak's doing a nice job of keeping Edmonds-Woodway contained right now. This is a team that scores over 80 points per game. They've got 26 with 2:22 to go in the second quarter. This game favors Glacier Peak in terms of what they want to do for the pace.
Some interesting lineup here for Edmonds-Woodway throughout the first half. Again, Peterson, Gay's been foul trouble a little bit. You're seeing Cooper, Knowles as Trey hits 1 of 2 on that trip.
Boy, and Robert Brown heated. He wants a 30, and he's animated down there on that sideline.
Not a happy camper.
No.
Other games going on tonight. Mountlake Terrace in action this evening from 3A South, going to kind of this Tuesday, Thursday. So as we look at, this is when you want to keep an eye on the standings.
Put it in the blender at this point. Puree.
As you look at the standings, Mountlake Terrace 4-1, Edmonds-Woodway 4-1, Shorewood 3-2, Shorecrest 3-2, and then you got Glacier Peak at 2-3, Meadowdale 2-4, but we just heard from head coach O'Neill there. They got the big win against Terrace. Linwood 0-5, and they've challenged some people.
Yep. Yeah, they're quick. They would match up against or they've played in Edmonds-Woodway. You know, they're quick. They can cause some trouble. They got active hands. You have to play a pretty good possession-oriented ball game, I think, if you're Linwood, but they can do it. They can beat people.
Interestingly, Tatro gets him up, goes, and that's the second three-pointer there for Brendan Tatro. Trey, right back at you. Boy, he just cut through 3 players and went right up to the glass.
And did the offhand lay-in, falling out of bounds.
8 points for Holland. Fun kid to watch play basketball. Hatch on the other side. Holland now going to work. Brendan. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Tates Edwards gonna stop, drop, and make it happen. Off the square. And Bobby Martin starting to mature.
Double figures for Martin already.
Biggest lead here, 4 for Glacier Peak. 33-29, Edwards off the back. Good big rebound there by Peterson. And Peterson, a junior, we saw him last year. We talk about, isn't that his sister, Missy Peterson?
No,
or they're not cousins? They're not related.
Not related.
Anyway, I like Missy Peterson.
They might as well,
I look
right?
forward. Yeah, they might as well. But he's going to just get bigger and stronger as he heads to the stripe there. Second foul on Argue.
And we mentioned the hot free throw shooting of Glacier Peak. Trey Holland is 2 for 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 for 6. Peterson has missed 1 now. And that could come back and get you in a big way if you're not careful.
Ryan hits that one. And here we go. Guffey, 1:04 left to go in the second quarter. We'll get a spot foul there. Both teams trying to play aggressive, tough defense. Holland gets caught for that one.
Well, it's definitely stalled. I mean, I don't know if you dropped the anchor or if I dropped the anchor. It's definitely different than the first quarter.
It's a heavyweight fight in that regard, feeling it out, and then, of course, we jinxed him as Guffey mixed the front end of the 1-and-1 there. Double bonus, 10 team fouls for GP. Guffey can't get either of them. Good rebound there by Brady.
Look
out to Hollins. David! Dvorak with a big rebound, getting chopped, and he gets a whistle. Dvorak is a good story. Played a lot of JV, didn't really get varsity minutes. Again, tight end on the football field. One of the bigger kids, just hasn't had a lot of varsity experience, and he's had to kind of learn on the job this year, getting minutes more and more as the season goes on.
But look at the fundamentals. He had 2 bigger guys on each hip and blocked out one of them, made sure he got one sealed off, and went and got himself a rebound. Now finds himself at the free throw line. So varsity experience or not, the kid's definitely got the wherewithal to be there.
And needed some size and a body. Dvorak, fun kid, funny kid. He hits 1 of 2 there. 3 points for Dvorak. Here's Brady Edwards. 50 seconds left in the first half. Another whistle, a hold, and now they'll be shooting.
Now this is where I get on my soapbox. Because I think at this point in time, you know how these two teams play. You're playing run and gun basketball. They play heavy defense, man-to-man pressure, and neither one of them right now is being allowed to have their game.
Woodard hits that. Yeah, and that call was on Guffey, his second. So getting into the second half, it'll be interesting not only how sometimes the players, coaches have to adjust to the officiating, but you hope they call it consistent the whole way as Woodard hits the second, but you got some foul situations, right?
I'm not saying that they aren't fouls. It's just that these teams play that way, and if they're both going to play that way, you might want to back off a little bit.
Well, it could get dicey because both teams, get some foul trouble, and here's Martin. He wants to, in the fun from beyond the arc, can't get it. Tatro thinks about it. 29 seconds left to go. Shot clock. Hatch. 22 seconds now. Now a reset near the timeline. We're going to draw the defense out. Zach Hatch, the senior. High pick Dvorak. Now thinks better. Goes back to the elbow. Tatro, 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Hatch. Downtown. Cannot even get the rim. Good defensive possession there by Edmonds-Woodway as they run into the tunnel. GP with a 2-point lead, 34-32. We'll go down to Steve Willits with Robert
Real
Brown.
quick with Robert Brown. Coach Brown, 34-32, you're trailing at the half. What does your team need to do differently in the second half?
We probably need to stop fouling. I mean, if you look at the book, they probably got about 14 off free throws, and that's our bugaboo. When we don't give up free throws, it's a different game.
Are they doing anything differently than what you were expecting them to do in terms of their game plan, or is this pretty much the game you thought they'd play tonight?
No, it's pretty much the game I thought they'd play. It's nothing different. It's the same thing every time you come in. It's a physical game, so we play through it.
All right, good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve Willits. Stay around here. We got the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show. We got David Kruger again from the Everett Herald. We'll talk to Steve Willits. And don't go anyway. 34-32. You might hear the wonderful voice of Keith Neely on the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show coming up on STSPN.
busy today because there's been big news, David Kruger. Reclassification coming to Wesco, and it starts right here. Glacier Peak going from 3A to 4A. Not confirmed yet, right? This is still about a week away.
It's still a week before the WIA approves at their executive meeting, but it looks like GP will barely make the cut for 4A. Snohomish will get into 3A, and then Terrace will be a 2A, and Shorecrest will be a 3A.
So the two schools in the Snohomish School District flip-flopping spots. You had a chance to talk to both Mark Albertine and Mr. Perry over at Snohomish. What are their thoughts on the situation?
They both kind of knew that it might be coming. At Glacier Peak, they kind of knew that they'd be on the bubble of 4A, 3A. Mr. Perry knew at Snohomish they'd be on the bubble, but once all the 22 schools started opting up, they knew that they were dipping down. They were probably going to be a 3A. They asked their coaches if they wanted to opt up, and they said no, just put us where the numbers put us, and that's what GP said too. They were right on the bubble of 4A. They could appeal to go down to 3A, but they won't. They said just put us where we end up, and that's where we'll play.
Now, we're still not sure if Snohomish is going to be in Wesco 3A South or North, correct? That's yet to be determined?
I think it's going to be figured out tomorrow. There's an AD's meeting at 12 tomorrow, and they're going to figure out where to put Snohomish. They want to be in the 3A North because that's where the ties are with Everett, Marysville, Pilichek, and those teams. But it'd be easy to just flip them and put them in the South and have them take GP's spot and the GP switch to the 4A. So we'll see how it goes. Either them or Everett will probably end up in the 3A South. They're going to figure that out tomorrow.
Now the 2A gets pretty interesting in that Mount Lake Terrace is going to drip to 2A, but there's going to be a new football conference, football only, involving schools from the entire Northwest region all the way up to Canada, correct?
Yeah, so that was kind of the big surprise for us today. Was Mount Lake Terrace is going to join a 2A league just for football. It's going to involve the 4 2A teams in the Cascade Conference: Archbishop Murphy, Cedar Crest, Lakewood, and I'm blanking.
Granite Falls.
Granite Falls, thank you. And then 6 or 7 teams from the Northwest Conference, which is Seaholm, Anacortes, Bellingham, Cedar Woolley, Linden, teams like Burlington Edison. It's going to be a tough conference for football only for the Hawks, but it's going to make for some good matchups. You get like Murphy and Linden, and you get Cedar Woolley and Lakewood and some good teams in there, so it'll be fun to watch.
And now from the standpoint of Edmonds-Woodway, these fans that are maybe watching right now, as well as Snohomish fans, they're going to stay 3A, and my understanding is that Squalicum and Ferndale are going to come down and play in Wesco for football. Is that correct?
I haven't heard that yet. I know Squalicum is appealing to try and be a 2A school, so that's one of those schools you have to wait for a week to see where they end up. But I know Ferndale, and if Squalicum does stay in 3A, but they come down for playoffs. I know they're playing Wesco for football. They might take Terrace's spot. I don't know exactly how that's going to go. That's still got to be worked out in the next meeting in 2 too.
So again, nothing's been confirmed yet. We've still got to wait for appeals to go through. The board meets, I believe, on the 25th of January. We'll know by then, but it sounds like Glacier Peak will be 4A next year. Snohomish will be 3A. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Steve Willits. David Kruger, I tell you, he is working overtime there at the Everett Herald. Nobody covers prep sports like all these different entities here.
That's a crossword puzzle I'm glad I don't have to put together. I mean, those athletic directors, they lock themselves in the war room and have to pencil all that out. That's tough duty.
I'm just happy that they're going to do a 4-year cycle, as you're seeing all the highlights and replays from the first half here, exclusive on STSPN. At the Action Jackson halftime show here. I'm just happy they're going with a 4-year cycle instead of these. The last 2 have been 2-year cycles. Talk about extra work and extra jigsaw puzzles for the athletic directors.
Well, not just that, but I think it's fair for the kids. If you're starting into a program and you have rivalries as a freshman, you're gonna have the kids that don't get to fulfill that 4A, 3A, whatever, those rivalries all the way through, but you got a better chance at it. And I know if I was an athlete and I was growing up with kids and I was playing against kids from other schools, and you get comfortable with who they are and knowing them and knowing their coaching staffs and all those things your freshman and sophomore year, and all of a sudden all that changes when you're a junior. Yeah, you're going to play the game and you're still going to love the game, but the rivalries just evaporate. And so it's nice that they've gone to that 4-year cycle, I think, just for that purpose, if for nothing else, that it keeps a lot of those rivalries alive, and that gets people out here like this one.
It's always fun. The Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show, and we're just about ready to get the third quarter started here. An interesting game. GP Edmonds-Woodway was up most of that first half. Just towards the end, some big threes by Tatro. Some interesting things coming out as they start here. Yeah, GP 5 more free throws as Rice tries to go to the rack, and it's not going to be rewarded there. But 5 more free throws than E-Dub in the first half. The other thing is Edmonds-Woodway 27 shot attempts to GP's 19, yet GP came away with the lead. Obviously more threes maybe, as there's another foul.
Boy, this is kind of the equivalent of how after the Super Bowl, NFL got together and said that the defensive backs aren't going to be able to do anything to receivers anymore. That's kind of how I feel this is. It really has changed the way this game has gone after that first quarter. The handcuffs have come off, and you're going to have to play straight up defense.
We ended the first half with a lot of fouls. Now we have more. Hatch from the corner. Good rebound there by Martin. Gets good position inside.
I think the telltale stat of the ball game is the second quarter scoring output for Edmonds-Woodway, 13 points. In a team that scores over 80 a game, that may be their low for a season in a quarter.
Well, their lowest output total is 67 the first game of the year as Martin toughs his way up and on the board and in. Bobby Martin, 12 points for the sophomore.
Ties the game high with David Woodard. That's some company you'd like to be with in the scoring column.
Rice for a triple. Yes!
Fifth Edmonds-Woodway Warrior with a 3-ball.
Turnover, Trey. Got it. All of a sudden, fast and furious. Now, the Warriors up by 1.
Boy, that was fast. I mean,
and Hatch,
it did not take long at all.
Front rim, now we're going. Holland likes it. Guffey tries to get there, but Trey Holland, he's a finisher, Keith.
Boy, the run now.
The pressure.
7-0.
Hatch now, quick with the bullet, and he gets it to go, and Brian Hunter has seen enough. He wants a TO, baby. Now down by 1.
You don't want to get that going. You want to stall that as fast as you possibly can. A lot of lead passes. Trey Holland took, I think, maybe a step and a half once he hit the free throw line and laid that thing up and in. So if he's out in front of you, you're not going to catch up.
Quick couple buckets for Trey Holland. And GP right back. Zach Hatch now collecting 11 points in this ball game. 1 point lead here for Edmonds-Woodway. We'll see how much the officiating kind of takes hold here.
Hunter has got to be talking to his kids. You're playing great defense. You're playing outstanding defense. Let's just make sure we're not turning the ball over on the offensive end and give them easy ones.
And the boards, not giving them second chances. You got to clean up the glass. David Woodard spins, and he draws the whistle. He'll head to the stripe. And Guffey's in trouble here.
Third foul.
Third on Justin.
Well, now they're starting to find Woodard.
Yeah, we'll see again. I mean, to say he's got 12 points, add 13, he hits that, is you're keeping him under control.
I think that's fair. That's a fair statement, Scott. I think you're absolutely hit the nail on the head there.
I mean,
I think he gets 20, you probably have him in control.
The mid-30s is something he's very familiar with. High 20s, mid-30s, trying to break this press. Guffey, cross court, now to Hatch, wants another 3.
Got it.
Boom!
Showing no ill effects of this press.
Trey,
Glacier Peak Grizzlies.
Front rim, Seaver wants to take it, runs in all kinds of trouble, and if it's not a travel, they're going to call David Woodard. Wow.
That surprised me.
5:56 left in the third quarter. Now all knotted up at 41.
Beautiful
Edmonds-Woodway.
entry
Great pass. Waits, but no. Peterson there. Denies. Trey. Oh, smooth and silky.
He just is. He's deceptive in his first step. He's deceptive in his length. I mean, what do they got him listed at? 5'10"? Boy, but his length, the way he just expands. He's like the stretch man.
And for Glacier Peak, that's the 4th foul on Justin Guffey, and that's a major concern with 5:49 left. Back into Trey. This time it won't work. Dvorak looking for somebody. Here's that full court pressure.
Remember, you got 10 seconds backcourt here. There, he got it finally across about 8 in.
Martin turns the corner but runs into a bumper, which is Jordan Rice, and he goes down.
Easy call to make, but that's third on Jordan.
So the fouls starting to rack up. 3 team fouls in the second half here on the Warriors. 2 for GP. Rice to take a seat.
Game clock didn't start the last possession. They finally got it ticking now.
Brendan Tatro back in. And they're going to get Trey Holland for a hold on Seaver Southern. Trey doesn't like the call.
It's just not how Edmonds-Woodway is used to playing basketball. So if everything's going to go and everything's going to be called, their conscience or subconscious isn't going to let them play that way, I don't think.
And Tatro slides off the court there from Woodard as Hatch has the ball up top. Seaver runs right into the trap. Now he's got trouble. Finds an open Hatch underneath. Flips it up. Beauty.
Holy smoke.
Little sauce.
No, look. Got it underneath, got some daylight.
The senior 16, Edwards. Inside give to Peterson. He can't handle the peach.
He got laying. If he grabs handles, should have been an easy deuce. We got a ball game.
Jim is getting a little quiet. It's getting tight. GP up by 2, 4:56 left. Edwards, great fundamental basketball. Squares up, get the defender on your back and right up to the glass.
And as tight as things have been called, you saw in that last possession, Trey Holland just put his thumbs in his ears because he didn't want to touch anybody on defense. And now Brady Edwards realizes, hey, if that's the way it's going to go, I'm going to draw some body.
Peterson takes a seat. Ollie Gay comes back in. Ollie with 2 fouls. That's the first foul. We're talking about a foul fest, and that's the first on Zach Hatch as Edwards delivers there.
Edwards 6 points on the evening, and the 1 point Edmonds-Woodway lead.
4:49 left. Now Seaver having trouble.
Got away with a walk.
Tatro. Boom! For 3 in the corner, and he'll take a seat in doing so. Back is quickly Woodard. Bounces off the rim, and they're going to call it the other way. Busy night for the whistles.
Sure is. Have we had an open possession since about midway through the first quarter? We've been not even 4 minutes gone by here in the third with 8 fouls.
Unbelievable. Seaver finally, the pressure pays off. Bobby Martin there to see if he can bail him out, but they're going to say that he traveled. Kevin Erickson there, right there. It's going to be E-dub ball. Helter skelter, Keith.
Crazy.
Neely. GP hanging on to the 2-point lead. 4:22 left here in the third quarter. Scott Oshman, Keith Neely, Steve Willits with you. Glad you're with us on STSPN.
If you're a player, you have to make adjustments just like coaches do. You've got to realize that you're not going to get a lot of love. Well,
that is just cold-blooded. Hey, why don't you come out here and give a screen? You know what? I'm just going to drain.
It's not coming. Screen's not coming.
17 for Mr. Woodard. Tatro, though, likes behind the line. This time too short. Follows it up, though. Finds Hatch.
Beautiful kick.
Back behind the arc. On the iron. This time, it's going to be State GP as Becker couldn't get the handle on it.
Edmonds-Woodway is having trouble finding a body to block out. It should have been an easy offside rebound.
60-second timeout. We will step away real quick, and then we'll go back to Steve Willits, or we want to go to Steve now? No, we're not going to go to Steve Willits. We'll step away. 46-47, Edmonds-Woodway with a 1-point lead. STSPN. Back here, third quarter timeout on the floor, 47-46 Edmonds-Woodway. Let's go across the gym over to Steve Willits, who's you picking up an instrument there? Easy for me to say.
To come to me. I'm going to interview these guys at the quarter break. We'll see what's going on over here. But right now, it's kind of quiet. It's a little peaceful. I could pick up a clarinet if I wanted, but I think I'll pass. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Steve. Bobby! Boy! Tough way to make a living, but he makes them pay. Martin now with 14 coming back. Edmonds-Woodway. Ooh. Brady Edwards.
Good move by Brady Edwards, able to split the defenders with that 2-foot stop. Got himself deep in the paint. Just couldn't hang on. That was another one of those Edmonds-Woodway bunnies. Can't quite drop.
Seaver trying to break that vaunted press. Now he gets into the double, into the corner. Again, a lot of trouble. Finds it. Tatro, good look. Martin drives on Gay to draw the foul, and he's going to get it. And Ollie Gay cannot buy a break here when it comes to getting fouls.
Hasn't been in the ball game that long. I don't know how many minutes he has, but he's probably got about as many fouls as he does minutes. 3.
That's his fourth, six-team foul here for the Warriors. Only 3 team fouls as Bobby Martin steps up, cannot get the roll. Well, Justin Guffey for Glacier Peak went down with 4 fouls sitting on the bench, and Bobby Martin has picked up where he left off there, Keith.
Well, you would think Edmonds-Woodway would be able to exploit that a little bit. Justin Guffey having to guard David Woodard a large part of the ball game, but you haven't seen an explosion out of Woodard.
Gets the second, 15 now for Bobby Martin.
We'll see if they go back to him. I know as a coach, if I'm looking down the other side of the bench and I see the main defender sitting down, I'm probably going to the guy.
3-minute mark right here for the third quarter. Jordan Rice held to 3, and now they're going to call Dvorak as he tries to come out and help on the pick.
And again, have we seen a possession without a tweet?
Yeah.
10 fouls in 5 minutes.
Second foul on Dvorak. 4th team foul for GP. Edwards.
Oh, Edwards has his head up. He's got a pick and roll.
That was the pick and roll. Becker out long range there. Seaver with the rebound. Seaver's just happy he's not taking the press on. Long range. Big rebound, Woodard. I got a feeling, Keith, he's not going to give it up. Oh, and he takes Dvorak out in the process. He doesn't get the basket, but Dvorak collects his 3rd quickly.
Well, that was a good call. It was one of those that Woodard had plenty of stop and going straight up in the air. Had a little bit of lean, but Dvorak came up underneath him. So you got to let the ball carrier have a little bit of a place to land.
Glacier Peak up by 2. We'll see if Woodard can make this a tie ball game.
And you had 3 on Dvorak, right?
I have 3 fouls on Mr. Dvorak.
So that's 3 to him, 4th on Guffey. I think Edmonds-Woodway in a little more trouble.
Into the game for the Grizzlies, number 25, Zach
Argue checks in. Dvorak takes a seat.
Rice with 3, Gay with 4.
Woodard there. Now it's his free throw. Shooting well from the stripe, shooting well. 19 points for David Woodard. Zach Hatch quickly up the near side. Finds Tatro. He likes it. And Zach Argue, a tough rebound off his hands into Woodard. Now he's got the guys in green coming down quickly. Jordan Rice from way outside.
Gets his own rebound, and he had to do it doing about 50 miles an hour end to end.
He knew when he released that one was coming off right side. Great anticipation.
Another one of those reasons if you're listening to the youngsters, you got to get a body on anybody to play blockout rules, blockout drill.
Yeah, rare miss as you were saying that by Woodard there. Didn't even hit iron, and now Seaver trying to calm this down. All knotted up again, 49-49. Bobby Martin takes on 3. Great block by Peterson. Releases Woodard to Brady. Almost wants to flush it. Just over the cup. Great hustle play there by Trey Holland as they try and get the inbound, and all of a sudden Edmonds-Woodway energized, Keith.
Well, there's times when it looks like the Edmonds-Woodway of old, and then for about 14, 15 minutes of this ball game, you wonder who they are.
Brady Edward, 8 points now.
Holland wants no fouls.
Seaver just trying to get it out of his hands. Down low, Zach, turn around, good post move there on Rice.
That's the first points of the ball game for Argue. That's surprising also.
Very. 51-51 tie.
And you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop a Trey Holland with a Brandon Tatro. You're just not going to.
No.
Interesting matchup.
Are you calling me right now? I hear a phone ringing on the line. We're not sure if that's going over air or not. All tied up. This is a fantastic high school varsity boys basketball game, and here's Kevin Erickson with another call. Holding the jersey, we see just under a minute, 57.4 seconds. Southard with his third. Going to run out of bodies here in a second, Keith Nealon.
I know. I don't know if they're going to get through the fourth quarter. He may not have a single starter on the entire floor by the time we hit 2-minute mark on the fourth.
Holland misses that one. GP down with it. 50 seconds, 27 on the shot clock. Inside to Martin, misses, but Zach's there and he's hammered by Peterson. Looks like he's hammered. I don't know. He might have gotten all ball.
And both coaches off the bench having words. Not with each other. That's not it at all, but I think some coaches don't want fouls to be called. I think some coaches do. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
That's the Cliff Notes version, Scott.
Yes, well, it's always good to come up and make an argument to the sheriff. Argue misses the front end there. Only second foul on Ryan Peterson, the junior. Only 1 point from the free throw line for Ryan, and Zach hits that. 3 points there for Argue.
And we're going to have bonus basketball the rest of the way.
Woodard takes it quickly to the rack, but he's fouled by Bobby Martin, as no surprise he got past him. That's a tough matchup for Martin, for anybody.
Yeah. You and I could grab both legs.
37.5 seconds left here in the third quarter. Woodard adds to his scoring total. 20 now for David Woodard.
You take him high, I'll take him low.
I still think he'd get by everybody.
I think he would.
The leaner goes for David.
Woodard throwing some body English on that free throw.
And Seaver here gets it. Now the trap. 30 seconds left in the game. They got to get it across. And a timeout called by the Glacier Peak bench.
Wise.
As talking about free throws, Keith.
Yeah, Edmonds-Woodway's taken as many free throws in this quarter as they have the entire first half.
Wow, and that was a lot.
Woodard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6. And now Steve Willits across the way. What do you got on us?
You guys are throwing me curveballs. I thought we were quarter break, but yeah, we're having some fun over here with the student body. The band's about to play. We're going to do a couple interviews when we get done with the quarter here. So stay tuned. We won't go to commercial. We'll get to know the Glacier Peak fans a little bit better.
Well, you hit that curveball right out, and that's the tease.
That
we'll
is.
Have a little.
Well, there's a new game.
Willits.
It's sweeping the nation. David Kruger from the Everett Herald just showed me on his phone. Where is Steve Willits? He's in the band, but where is he and what instrument is he playing?
I'm thinking about taking up the drums. I've never played before, but I think there's enough over here enough people that can play and that are very good at what they do to where they could probably drown me out. I could have a little fun in the process and get more involved. What do you guys think?
I like Steve. I actually do play the drums. I have a set at my house, which is about 2.5 minutes from here. 5 minutes, you're always welcome. Come on over.
A little bit too late for tonight, but maybe next time.
All right, third quarter winding down, 20 seconds to go. Zach Hatch over to argue. 14, just like a 1 second differential from shot clock to game clock. Martin, far side. Woodard goes right to him. Can't get the bucket. Zach. No. Hatch. And the buzzer goes. 3 attempts. 3 zeros for Glacier Peak as they are now down by 1 heading into the fourth.
You know, that whole setup was given to Glacier Peak by their head coach, Brian Hunter. He doesn't call timeout at the exact moment you don't have 3 attempts. You could very well be up by a point heading into the fourth quarter.
Let's go over now to Steve Willits.
How dare these guys play while I'm trying to do an interview, right? What is this, a basketball game or something? It's a little bit loud over here. I'm going to go where it's maybe just a wee bit quieter. We got the fans here. Who's winning this game tonight? I think we have a prediction right there. We keep going down the waist here a little bit. You know, Glacier Peak is a good girls basketball team. We got a couple of the players right here. We got Chuck and Natalie. How about that Linwood game last night? You played them tough.
Yeah, it was a battle. We're excited to play them again in February.
They're already ready to go. They know that they beat them the second time last year. You guys got a big one against Edmonds-Woodway tomorrow, though, right?
Yeah, we're excited to play them. We're going to give them a battle, too.
Are we going to Tacoma this year?
Oh, heck yeah.
There you go. They're going to Tacoma, but right now, their other team's got to take care of business. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Steve Willits, Natalie Rasmussen, Nat Rat, and also Charlie Sevenance there, I think, is the other gal he talked to. Chuck Sevenance actually had a big 3 last night in that loss for GP to Linwood, but a great ball game. And now the defense. Seaver just tosses Holland away, and quick hands there by Knowles. But just a few seconds into this fourth and final quarter, and we got a whistle as usual.
And that's the kind of defense that Edmonds-Woodway plays. Got battled deep into the shot clock. And then inevitably, as the way the rest of the game is pretty much gone, evaporates with a free throw.
Martin unlucky there. Good hustle, but it'll be Edmonds-Woodway basketball, and we'll get our great statistician Stephen Whitman there. We're going to have to run some numbers here. Get the calculator out for some free throw. The abacus. Turn up the turbine. Something's got to happen. We need some free throws. I hear with both of them in the bonus here. Trey Holland wants a bonus, and he deserves it.
What body control. Got hit about the time he left the court and was able to maintain his way to the rim. Put it home.
14 for the junior. Seaver Southard gets it across, and they're going to call travel on Bobby Martin. He looks and says, "That's my bad, coach."
Martin, he thought he was going to draw contact and ended up having 2 guys flying at him, and it was almost bizarre that they didn't even touch him. I think they were worried about the fouls.
Probably.
And it caught him off guard.
Trey Holland now, high screen by Peterson. No pick and roll. Holland takes it, makes it. No, he won't. Boy, what a creator. The Trey Holland show in full blast tonight.
Hey, you notice Woodard isn't even on the court right now.
No.
So the playmaker is going to be Holland.
Rice, no call there. Hatch driving, stops up. There's Bobby Martin. Oh boy, buy that kid a Jamba Juice card. He is helping out.
Edmonds-Woodway's really got a seal on the offensive glass. They've really struggled allowing second chance points, and that's along with free throws has kept Glacier Peak in this ball game.
Knowles gonna try his chances. A nice looking little fader by Knowles. Just as GP got it to 1, Keith, now it stretches back to 3.
I was just gonna say, you gotta really double down the defense now. You just let them get the lead.
Oh, and Zach Argue goes down. Peterson, hopefully Zach's okay. He has had concussion issues on and off. That's so that headband is actually got some padding there as Zach looks like he's okay. Always good to see him as he will head to the free throw line. That's 3 fouls on Ryan Peterson.
And it's the way the game's been going. With all, I don't even know. I got so many chicken marks, so many circles, scratches for free throws on my sheet here. It's not easy to count them up, but it's more than field goals. It's got to be.
Well, GP was up 34-32 at half, and now we're getting a call here, and we want to get him checked out. Zach Argy going over
maybe
to the Glacier Peak sideline just to make sure.
Protocol?
Yep, make sure everything's okay. Dvorak will check in for him. At one point, looked like GP was going on a little bit of a run, and then Edmonds-Woodway came back. The Trey Holland show came into effect, and he kind of brought him back, now up by 3. As the gym quiets a little bit, make sure Zach's all right. Jordan Rice with the rock.
Jordan Rice can come uncorked too, if you let him.
Great body control there, and squares up high in his jump, and he drains it. Jordan Rice been relatively quiet for him, only 5 points for the senior.
I think that ties the game lead, or high for lead for Edmonds-Woodway. 5.
5:21 left in this ball game. Glacier Peak again clawing their way through league play, and Dvorak hits the ground, and now there's a foul.
I do not agree with that call at all. That was unfortunate because two players just got locked up. It was a hard screen, and David Woodard got thrown into it by the opposing player. He wasn't able to control where he was on the court. He was just thrown into the player, and he's whistled for his 4th foul.
So a lot of key players. As you see, speaking of 4 fouls, Guffey gets back in the ball game. He's got 4 fouls. Dvorak at the line, hits it. 4 points for the senior Kyle Dvorak at 6'5". A different game here for Edmonds-Woodway. This is very Glacier Peak-esque. 59-55. Edmonds-Woodway up now, 59-56. Back to 3. Dvorak does a nice job hitting those 2.
22 free throws for Glacier Peak to the 18 of Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, and Mike Quick abacus flicking.
And Edmonds-Woodway in the double bonus now. 8 team fouls for Glacier Peak as Rice brings it up in the front court. Edwards.
40 free throw attempts.
That's incredible.
In a high school basketball game.
Becker, great move to the baseline. And here out front, Zach Hatch. Yes, he gets it to fall.
Great release, great ball game. Hatch.
Right back at you, Knowles for 3. Boom, baby! Caleb Knowles!
All in the quarter.
62-58, great response there by the Warriors right when GP gets close. Hatch. Great defense there by Rice. Hatch thinks, pulls the trigger. Great there, rebounding there. They had him covered on the glass.
Thought about it too much, I think. Yeah, he hit it, just shot it, he'd have had it.
Becker, no one's shy going to the rack. And some unsung heroes coming through 12 games, Keith Neely. You cover them, but Becker, Knowles, who are these guys?
Well, when you run and gun and you have to play such fast pace, you've got to have people on the bench.
Peterson with a defensive stop. Becker the other way. Big rebound by Dvorak. It's a hackarama down low. As
I think Rice is
wood there.
Chop his way to 4th foul. So if you look at the foul trouble right now, you've got Jordan Rice with 4. You've got David Woodard with 4.
No, they're gonna get number 12 Becker for that.
They got Becker.
His 3rd.
Thanks for the correction.
3:52 left in the game, slowing it down here. Go ahead, Keith. You're on a roll with your fouls, man. You're right.
It's insane.
It's foul-palooza here.
No words, but I do know one thing. You got to hit them
You do.
when you're giving them.
Dvorak.
And right now, when you don't have the lead, you've got to hit free throws. Dvorak, 3 for 4 before that miss.
Substitution on both sides.
It's like hockey sides.
It really is. Bobby Martin takes a seat. Dvorak looking at his second one. Can't get that off the rim. Rebound, Knowles. Brendan Tatro in the ball game. 42 attempts from the charity stripe tonight. That's a lot of foul shots. And now Brendan Tatro. Both sheriffs like what they called there. At least there's consistency. And is that Brendan Tatro?
I believe so. And now Woodard and Rice having a huddle, and I think they're going to warn both benches. Now they said a flagrant one, I believe, on Tatro.
And that is on 20, Brendan Tatro. We had a technical foul in the first half, 3 on Brendan. And let's go over to Steve Willits.
And we've got David Woodard step into the free throw line. I'll have him, Mr. Gene Woodard, stand up here and join me for a second. This is David's dad, so we're getting a different perspective right now. And I got to say, Gene, I was sitting here listening a minute ago. Who's more nervous right now, you or your wife?
It's a close tie right now. We're both pretty nervous. This is an exciting game, real close game, kind of oddly officiated, so that gets you on your, son. My son has 4 fouls, so a little nervous about that.
So, yeah, we've got Dad with us, son with 4 fouls. That's always a good way to ask. So, when you see David going in there with 4 fouls in a tight game, what kind of coaching do you give him at home? Do you tell him he has to play a little bit looser at this point in time?
Hopefully he doesn't get to the 4. I tell him not to get the reach foul, not to get the silly foul, because you're always going to get an accidental 2 fouls if you're playing aggressive. So it's that silly reach foul that's the one not to get. If you get to 4, it's already too late. You just got to back off.
Father definitely knows best. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Steve. And I tell you, you're right. The parents go through tremendous anxiety every night here in the gym. You have been there.
I've been there. I've put a couple through. Still got one in college playing the rock. So yeah, it's you sit and you get yourself twisted up pretty good at times.
Great job there, Steve Willits. Woodard. Big rebound for GP there with Kyle Dvorak. So 66-58 now. Biggest lead here for Edmonds-Woodway. Time clicking, and now here's a possible turnover as both kids dive to the floor.
And I don't know how you make that call. They've done most of the fouls we've seen, I can honestly say, yes, they're probably fouls, even though they may be a little differently called in other ball games. But that one, you've got a loose ball, 2 kids going equally for the ball. And yeah, they both hit the ground, but no one else is at fault more than another.
Yes. Knowles gets that one, 4 on Knowles. So filling up the foul sheets here. Bobby Martin back, see if he can crawl back into this lead as he drains the first one. 15 of 25 at the charity stripe tonight for Glacier Peak. Another substitution there.
Well, you tell me as a head coach I'm going to get to the line 25 times tonight. I will take that every single night, inside, out, backwards.
Short on the second there, 18 points for Bobby Martin tonight. Just under 3 minutes to go, 66-59. Trey Holland with the ball. Seaver settled on that, Woodard. And he is stripped of the ball, now it's on the floor. Woodard gets it back. To deep to Knowles, 13 on the shot clock. Knowles finds Rice. Drives in, Tatro helps. And the tip by Peterson, they're going to say no basket in the cylinder. Goaltending. You don't see that very often
Not
here.
Not very often, and
even Steve Willis shaking his head, and he sees more basketball than any of us.
I think that was coming off the front iron. I don't think that was in the well.
But Rice with the pickup and the finish, the scoop and score.
2:33, you got the 9.
And just in the last few minutes, Edmonds-Woodway showing their prowess. Seaver, mid-range jumper off the front end, and Woodard will take care of it. 2:17 left to go.
And now it's getting to that point where you may have to start fouling on purpose, if you can even say that. Woodard. In this kind of ball game. It's crazy, and there it is.
There you go. Seaver Southern. And Seaver Southern gets lit up, and Brian Hunters finds it a teaching opportunity. That's his fourth on Mr. Southern.
Jordan Rice coming off the bench, had to leave early in the third because of foul trouble. Got to pick up that third quickly. Has come back and has really answered after stepping back here in the fourth. But he's got 3, 5, 7, 9 points just here in this fourth quarter.
Woodard here at the line for Edmonds-Woodway. And now a 10-point lead. We didn't think it was possible. Coming out of halftime early in the third quarter, Woodard, he has had how many he's at 24 short. I have 24, and it's all free throws in the last. He misses that.
Yeah, 9 for 10 from the stripe.
2 minutes to go. GP, now they got a lot of work to do. They're going to have to get some buckets behind the arc. Tatro bailed out, falling down, gets it to Zach Hatch. 17 on the shot clock, just throws it up. Woodard with a big rebound. And credit Edmonds-Woodway and Coach Brown. Defensively, they've really extended, and Peterson wide open, can't handle it, gets into Guffey's hand. He's back in. Not sure if that was a clean dribble there by Mr. Hatch.
At this point, I'm not sure what to think.
And Coach Brown wants a timeout. Helter Skelter. We're going to have our player of the game presented by the Adrenaline fundraising. And maybe we'll take a quick Adrenaline fundraising timeout and we will think about it. You have him for 9? Okay.
9 for 10 free throws for David Woodard in the second half. Yeah, we've got a dilemma.
I don't know.
A dilemma.
Steve Willits, what do you want to chime in on this? Jordan Rice, you're right. He has been gutty here at the end
9 points
with free throws.
Boy, 0 and 33, you can't go wrong with either, right?
No, you really can't.
I was misspoken on my points for David Woodard. We'll correct that. And Seaver barely gets it, but his heel hits the line. Ref doesn't see it, and now it's over and back maybe? Or is it another foul as poor Knowles goes down, I think?
Grabbing that left ankle, that's not good. And you hate to see that in a game toward the tail end like this, and a scrappy play. And as protective as the referees have been to this point, you would think we would never have gotten here.
Yeah.
Where you've got a kid down with grabbing an ankle or a knee.
1 minute, 10 seconds left in this game. Our Adrenaline fundraiser player of the game. I think Jordan Rice is a front runner.
I think he is in my book. You're going to get David Woodard for 20 points a game pretty much every night of the week.
Not only that, I'd like to just highlight the defensive effort that Rice has put on tonight. Steve, chiming in.
We were talking stats over here. I'm sorry, wasn't you?
No, chime in. Go ahead.
Player of the game and
it's tough. We have Jordan Rice actually for 6 in the fourth quarter, not 9.
Okay.
So it's but still a great fourth quarter for him. You're right. Great defense being played by the entire team really to build this lead to double figures. So I guess maybe we'll take it right down to the wire, just like a good game. kind of play it by ear, see who makes the big play down the stretch, and maybe.
Oh, I like it.
You like that?
The anticipation.
The build-up, that is.
What's David Kruger?
STSPN.
You're standing right next to Kruger. Does he have a vote for player of the game?
I asked him a minute ago, and he really didn't have a vote. David, do you have a vote for player of the game?
I don't know.
Great answer.
That's good broadcast right there.
Yeah,
it's good.
He's not the best color guy in the business for nothing, folks.
Oh, man, I tell you. I hope Mr. Knowles, Caleb Knowles, he looks gingerly walking off, needs help. He has played a heck of a ball game. You know, almost Knowles, Cooper coming in.
Oh, and you got Becker, who's still in the ball game.
Absolutely.
Has had a great job at defense, some crafty interior moves on offense.
And they're going to – is that a foul or they're just out of bounds? Looked like Trey hit it out of bounds.
They reset the 30-second clock.
Okay.
So that isn't necessarily good, but they didn't catch it.
Rice taking it out of bounds to Trey Holland. Again, I could make a case for Trey Holland because it was that third quarter where GP led at halftime, and it's a Trey Holland show, kind of put Edmonds-Woodway on the right path. So how about that, Trey Holland? Let me throw him.
And that'll take Woodard back to the line. 9 of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of 10 free throws.
That's outstanding.
I'll take it.
That is tremendous. That's what they practice when you're doing suicides lines and you're running, and you take free throw shots at the end. This is what they do it for right here. As the foul's on Southern. And he's retired for the evening.
The game for the Grizzlies, number 12, Jack Wygant.
Jack Wygant in, the senior. If you're Glacier Peak, you had him right where you wanted him. It was a physical, ugly, slow game. You're still at 69 points.
They're matching up well. You're only allowing their all-world leading scorer to 12 points in the first half. So, yes, I agree.
Lowest output, I guess, is 66 versus Bishop Blanchette. As he hits that, now they get to 70. And a rare miss there from the line. Guffey way out to Hatch. Got it. And now a quick timeout with 39.6 seconds left. Cut the lead to 9.
And just as you think it's nail and coffin, you're able to squirt Hatch loose for the deuce on the other end just to keep it a little interesting.
It was a nice lead pass. I think everybody in the area hopes we see a lot of connections like that on Sunday morning from the Seattle Seahawks. So our Adrenaline Fundraiser player of the game, we think Jordan Rice might be the guy. Steve, you're killing me over there. Willits?
That's a lot of pressure to put on one guy over here.
Yeah.
You want me to? I get to pick the player of the game.
Well, we're just add to the conversation. I mean, make an argument, okay? Come on.
Let's go ahead and I don't know. I'm looking down the bench here. Let's just give it to Eddie or somebody like that. What do you think? Just random.
Sure.
But we couldn't figure this out. We should just ask Todd if he's got a whole stash of these T-shirts and just give them to like 4 or 5 guys and have some fun with it.
Again, it's the color guy. Keith, you overrule. You
is that how that
you judge
works?
and jury everything.
I like the right. Yeah, a lot of pressure there for Keith, and this is his school.
He just doesn't want any. That's how he gave it to you, and then he giving it to me.
Well, I'm down to 0 and 33. How does that sound?
Yeah,
I like it.
I think you kind of have to go that way right now. Just Woodard with the huge game overall. Rice with the fourth quarter. Steven's got a thought too.
And get inbound, just a quick foul on Woodard. He'll go right back to work.
My only argument, I guess, if I'm going to make one, I think I go with Jordan Rice, and the reason was it was down 1, and Rice was part of that. I think he had 5 points in that 7-0 run that got him the lead, and really it hasn't gone down. Well, since that point, I don't think they've trailed.
Fouls on Wygant. Jack checking in, draws the foul there. First on him. Go ahead, Steve.
Does it come down to the shoes at the very end? I mean, let's be honest. Both of those two, best shoes out there, right?
And Woodard, he lost his shoe earlier as he, again,
he's found it, by the way.
Proficient from the stripe tonight. 72 points. Guffey, Tatro, Trey Holland skies for the bound. And now collects a foul as Guffey helps him up. They know it's 23.5 left on the clock here. Jordan Rice, let's go. Let's just call it right now. Jordan Rice, our Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. But if you could give a team, I think this was an important game. You cover Edmonds-Woodway. You saw him against Coach Brown.
It's a gutsy win. It's one that you're not going to win a lot of ball games like this. But it's nice to know that you can win ball games like this if you have to, and just gut your way through it. You're not used to getting the calls called as tight as they are on your defense, and you pride yourself on defense. So I think it's a feather in the cap to the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors to keep enough composure to get to the point where they could put the W up.
And you got to adapt, right? You have to adapt as Jack Wygant brings it into the front court. 18 seconds left to go. Finds Jack down under, finds Hatch even better, flying to the rack, and Zach will add to his totals. Jordan Rice, our player of the game, 5 seconds, and they'll swing it around, and that will do it. 74-63, Edmonds-Woodway. They go on to win this one. They'll extend out to 5-1 in the league, 12-2 overall. They head next Tuesday night to Meadowdale, which again just had that big win over Terrace the other day. 50 total free throws. If you like free throws, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was the game to see.
That's why you practice them every single day. Games like this, 50 free throws.
The Sheriff getting a little bonus time tonight as we'll roll right down to Steve Willits with our Adrenaline Fundraiser Play of the Game, Jordan Rice. Steve?
They all my friends right here. Family right here, baby.
And Jordan Rice.
We've got a slew of guys down here, but our player of the game is number 33. These guys want to crash the party too. You guys want to hold this shirt up for Jordan? Hey, hold it over his head for us, would you?
We were going to give it for most fouls, but...
The camera's over here, Allie. There we go. We've got a whole bunch of guys here, and a great game for these guys. This team right here's won 7 games in a row. Jordan Rice, you were a big part of that in the fourth quarter. Walk us through that fourth quarter and big 7-0 run. I think you had like 5 of those points.
Yeah, we just kept our composure. We kept fighting. We didn't give up. We know it's a game of runs, and we just had our run at the end, and it just went our way.
Now, 5 of your... David Woodard's having some fun here. 5 of your last 7 games have been by 23 points or more as far as the win differential. You guys aren't used to playing close games, at least you haven't been lately. Kind of fun for you guys and kind of interesting to get into one of these games again where it comes down the stretch?
Hey, this is why I love it. This is why I play the game, for close, exciting games. Man, it's just fun out here, man. It's fun to win. It's fun playing with these guys, man. I love everyone on my team, man. I could ask for it. Jordan Rice is a great ball player. Watch out for it.
There you go. So Brady Edwards chiming in there. Hey, next 2 games, Meadowdale and Mount Lake Terrace. You guys are in a big 3-way tie for first place right now. What's it been like for you guys ever since that Mount Lake Terrace loss? What's been the biggest difference since that game, and what do you guys need to do moving forward?
No, we just take one game at a time. Next game's Meadowdale, and we ready to play him, man.
What do you think of this guy right here?
Oh, man, he's great, man. I love him, man. I couldn't ask for anyone better, man. I love this big guy, man.
Allie Gay, heck of a game for Mr. Ricer. What'd you think?
Yeah, he did great. He shot some threes, made him. He fought every game, the whole game he fought. He didn't let anyone control his game. He did what he had to do. Good shit.
So we get a little bonus coverage tonight. The guys are excited. They should be. They won by 7. They won their 7th in a row. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Steve. Nobody does it like Steve Willits. The mayor, baby.
He's the mayor. Gutsy win for Edmonds-Woodway. And I think this is one you're going to probably, as a coaching staff, you're going to be happy you escaped the cave here at Glacier Peak. And it's also one that you're probably filing away in the back of your mind when it comes down to district time and you get into some duress. It's one that you're going to bring out and tell the fellas, remember when.
Absolutely had shades of a playoff type game where it gets down to half-court possessions.
Yep.
And it's physical and it's tough. Quickly, well, I think you have the more accurate stat book. Why don't you run down here? We'll start with Glacier Peak. Again, Zach Hatch, a tremendous night on both sides of the court for Zach.
19 points for Zach Hatch. He had 10 points in that second half and really kept things at least interesting when Edmonds-Woodway went on that big run.
Bobby Martin, a great effort there. Some big offensive rebounds.
18 points for Martin, and that's just it. He was the everything guy. He got those backside rebounds. He was one. You got to say that between Bobby Martin and Kyle Dvorak, they have such fundamental rebounding skills. They block out well. They know where the offside is. They know the angles on rebounding, and those two were really what kept a lot of the life, because there was a lot of second chance points for Glacier Peak.
There were, and a big moment, again, if you're looking at the other side, kind of breaking down the loss and they look at the tape. Justin Guffey, again, foul trouble was rampant here tonight, but he goes out of the ball game. He does so many things, not only offensive but also defensively. And then if you look on the Edmonds-Woodway side, points-wise, David Woodard, again, continues. We thought he was slow. He only had 12 at half, but then he put on the gas.
I had him for 26. I don't know if that's accurate, but I had David Woodard for 26 points, 25 points officially for David Woodard. I think I missed a free throw there. But that's just what David Woodard does. You're always going to get 20 plus out of David Woodard unless he's not feeling well, or you've got that lockdown defender that can stop him.
But what a performance from the line, as you said. I mean, just outstanding. 26 points for David Woodard. Trey Holland, again, just spectacular all game long, defensively putting the pressure. But that second half, that third quarter, kind of the Trey Holland show.
Well, David Woodard on the bench, and when we talked about the fact he was absent, somebody was going to have to step up. In the third quarter, it was Trey Holland, and in the fourth quarter, it was Jordan Rice.
Jordan Rice, Ollie Gay, tough night for him. Foul trouble early and often. Brady Edwards, 8 points. Ryan Peterson, again, tough, only one bucket, free throw line, but great defense. Had some big stops, some big blocks. Noah Becker contributing, Eddie Sear. What a team win. Even Knowles, I have for 5, hope he's okay and recovers from the ankle, but what a team victory, and that's what you need, depth, teamwork, next man up.
Well, and that, again, the way the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors play and how Robert Brown coaches, they are going to fly around the court. And if you're not deep and if you're not well conditioned, you're going to struggle without being able to, get deep to the 8th, 9th guy on the bench.
And they want to turn you over, does the Warriors. Only 8 turnovers for Edmonds-Woodway. Is that right, Steve? So let's wrap it up here. Steve, you look at this league. You coca the Everett Herald, the podcast. You're part of the power poll. What does this say? This kind of a pivotal game that we talked about how Edmonds-Woodway, you have to adapt and play differently. What do you think going in now to the last half of the league play in the districts?
I think Edmonds-Woodway has to be feeling very good. Again, their last 7 games, they're 7-0. They've won by 23 points or more in 5 of those 7 games. And these teams have seen Edmonds-Woodway now, and they are starting to adapt. And guess what? Edmonds-Woodway's still coming out with double-digit victories. So I think if you're Edmonds-Woodway, you're feeling pretty good. You obviously have a huge game against Mount Lake Terrace next Friday because, quite frankly, you're in a tie with them. But Mount Lake Terrace owns the tiebreaker, having beaten you earlier this year. You lose that game, and you're essentially down by 2 games with about 5 to go. So Edmonds-Woodway needs to win that game. But really, this division is just so much fun right now. I mean, we watched Meadowdale beat Mount Lake Terrace the other night. Glacier Peak is 2-4, and they've got more talent than your average 2-4 team, and they're not losing by very much. I mean, they could have beaten Mount Lake Terrace last week, could have won this game tonight. Linwood jumps out on Edmonds-Woodway by 15 points in the first quarter last week, and you can't sleep on those shoreline schools either. I mean, this is about as competitive as it's been, I think, in as long as I can remember, as far as top to bottom. On any given night, you kind of feel like even your top teams can lose to the bottom tier.
Well, and outside of Stanwood in the north, you really is a completely polar opposite in divisions, because you look up 3A North, and boy, there's a lot at the bottom end. You have to go quite a ways up the top to find some competition, I would think. And now I haven't gone in and seen these teams play personally, but just in what I've read and everything else, you get the sense that whatever comes out of this 3A South Division in that district, within 1 through 4, is going to go a ways.
They're going to be battle tested, that's for sure.
Yeah, more than
bruised.
likely. Pilchuck is starting to come on a little bit. They got off to a slow start. They had some injuries. They're playing a lot of young guys. But really, as far as contending for a district title, I don't think that there's anybody other than Stanwood that can come out of the north. So really, it is going to come down to the south and maybe one team up there.
Parity, just like the NFL likes it. parity in the South.
You think the commissioners having an effect over here in the Pacific Northwest as well?
I'm not sure.
Maybe
Maybe that was part of the classification discussion. Just kidding. JK. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Edmonds-Woodway, they come away with a big win. The Warriors 74-63 over Glacier Peak. For Steve Willits, I got to tell you, it's been so fun. We're looking forward to this, having you out. You're just the mayor. You know everybody. You're interviewing parents. It's incredible. Keith Neely, the man, the myth, the legend, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank also our great sponsors, Action Jackson, McDaniel's Do It Center. I should have my list, Todd. Adrenaline Fundraising, and Edmonds Community College. And stay to that phone dial. Anything, Steve's dying.
I'm still envious of you guys for having Stephen Whitman as that guy too. He is phenomenal. Keith and I can attest to that. We usually end up having to do it either ourselves or trying to look over somebody's shoulder after a game. You've got a guy right here who does a fantastic job, and he's got some great insight too. So Stephen, nice work. And
kudos,
if these guys ever want to, if these guys ever try to fire you, they won't give you a raise.
Hey now,
talk to us.
Simmer down there, Willits. Stephen Whitman, great job. Todd Elvig, the 5-tool executive producer and the engineer and the guy who he's brought out more widgets than we have room on the table for tonight. But that's a final, 74-63. Scott Oshman saying so long, and stay tuned to that browser, phone, whatever, because between Sound Live Sports Network and the Snohomish Time Sports Network, there's nothing but prep varsity basketball. Have a good night.
NBA free ball. He just absolutely drains that one.